Well, this just in, the Colorado Supreme Court has ruled that Trump is ineligible to appear on the ballot in Colorado for the Republican primary. Oh, yeah, they did it.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth. I'm surviving at the top of the line!
Hi, this is Pastor Marty. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Please make sure you are a subscriber to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That'll give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Hey, please like and share this video. That's how we get the word out that we're here. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. So the Colorado Supreme Court, which is entirely chaired by liberals, all of the robed ambassadors of the people of Colorado are left liberals. But Colorado is a left liberal state. Even with Donald Trump not appearing on the ballot, more than likely, decrepit old dementia Joe Biden will probably carry the state anyway. But that's not the point. What they did was they basically said, based on the 14th Amendment, Donald Trump, guilty of insurrection, therefore he cannot run for the presidency of the United States. Now, this, of course, sets up the Trump appeal, which they have already done, and they are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to step in. This all but ensures that the Supreme Court is going to have to step in mass now, because if this is allowed to stand in Colorado, it'll spread to California and probably places like the state of Washington, maybe even a couple of others. Other states have already ruled on this, and here's the bottom line. Whether this was Donald Trump or even Joe Biden himself, Donald Trump hasn't actually been charged with insurrection. If you look at his indictments and all the things he's been charged with, he has not been charged with insurrection. He hasn't. He hasn't been convicted of insurrection. There is an accusation that he goaded his supporters into rioting on January 6th, but this hasn't been argued in a court. This has not been proven. So these robed justices, without actually seeing any evidence presented and any contrary argument of defense presented, simply arbitrarily ruled. Welcome to fascism, where we arrest our political opponents, we prosecute our political opponents, especially now that Trump is so rising in the polls. Even in the aggregate, he's over 60%. He is thrashing everyone, despite faux pas news, formerly known as Fox News' best efforts to shove Nikki Haley down our throats and say she's cut Donald Trump's lead. He's only ahead of her by 15 points now in New Hampshire. Nikki Haley is not going to be the GOP nominee. And Tucker Carlson has got this right. The average Republican in Congress hates the average Republican voter, because the average Republican voter is conservative and they are traditional. And the neocons who think it's still their party, they want to talk fiscal conservatism, they want to saber rattle, but in reality, they're just as feckless wimps and absolutely just nauseating. This Speaker of the House we have, basically signing off and allowing the Biden administration to continue spying on Republicans. That's what all of these so-called, reinforcing, the homeland security is all about, going after conservatives and people with traditional faith and values. Way to go, Ben Johnson. Way to go, Rhino Republicans. Way to go, neocons. See, it wasn't supposed to be this way. The neocons had a nice arrangement worked out with the libs back in the day. Because again, there's not a nickel's worth of difference between Democrats and Republicans. They are just simply different sides of the same coin. And it was just kind of worked out that, hey, for a while, we'll have the White House, then we'll trade, we'll go back and forth and back and forth. And for the most part, the liberals really wanted to maintain their majority and control of the Congress, but they were willing to trade the White House back and forth and, share the barbs on the cable news talk shows. But at the end of the day, they all go to the same cocktail parties. They've all got their hand out with the same lobbyists, and they see themselves as a ruling class. It's not about left versus right or even right versus wrong anymore. It's about them, the ruling class, versus us. And the ruling class has spoken. Donald Trump is not part of the clique. He's not part of the club. He interrupted the way that they do business. He was putting a stop to the military-industrial complex. And they can't have that. Can't have that, can't have that, can't have that. And he was pushing back on certain things like the Great Reset. Can't have that. Pushing back on so many of what has become the fifth rail of American politics, and they can't have it. And they've lost their minds over it, and they are all infected with Trump derangement syndrome, and they believe that half the country that loves him and voted for him are vile individuals, and we need to be watched very carefully. So Colorado will not allow Donald Trump's name to appear on the ballot. This is going to go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has got to step in, and they have got to decisively and swiftly put an end to this unconstitutional, bullhawk, fascist hogwash. The question is, will they?